How you guys doing? Mike Gambrill at BlackHawk. Just gonna go through a real quick thing with you guys today on just changing a pull start. Whether it's on the 125 or the 190, they're both really mounted the same. I have the engine off of the frame and everything just so that you can see all of this, but if you remove your harness, the top parts, fold it down in front, you can actually get this out without removing your motor. Just for video purposes though, this is a lot easier just so that you guys can see. It's really simple. It's only 4 bolts stuff, so we can just go ahead and pop those out real quick. And I'll kind of simulate how it drops out the bottom, this being the bottom of the engine. So we can just get all these free. And the torque on these, when you tighten them back up, is snug. You don't have to try to break the bolt in half tightening it. Just snug it up good and it's fine. Okay, so you just remove the bolts and the washers. Lock washer goes under the head, flat washer goes against the starter. Kind of easier if you just keep them together. So all the bolts are removed, and if this was sitting on your frame and this being the bottom of the motor, you can actually just reach in through here, pop the bottom out, shift it a little bit, and it'll slide right out the bottom. I've done this a few times. It works really easy, so you don't have to take the whole thing off. Once we have the starter off, it's kind of easier to go ahead and remove your handle. This right here is just a piece of tubing we put on there so that it keeps the pull start rope easier over your shoulder to get to if you want to start it in flight. A lot of times when you get these off, the knot's usually pretty tight. I just find it easier to just go ahead and cut the knot off. Won't be using it again anyways. So just simply remove those. And we have our new pull start sitting here. So let's just get some of the rope out. Your pulley goes on first. Then go ahead and put the tube on, and then the handle on. Put that through there. As far as a knot goes, I just go ahead and put it together like, rope together like that, just come around on itself. That gives you a pretty big knot that isn't going to come out. You can just tighten this up, and as you pull this a few times, this will all just basically settle into the slot here. But just pull it in, that's ready to go, and it's not going to come out. You don't need to pre-wind these starters. All you really need to do is just make sure that the rope is around and coming out the top. And this is all symmetrical. It doesn't matter whether you put it this way, or whatever. Just make sure that the rope is actually coming out on top. Make sure that your line guide is in place. And then it's just sliding it in, get it lined up. You can go ahead and let go of the rope. That should keep it there. And then reinstall the bolts. I like to just get everything started before tightening everything up. Okay, all the bolts are started. I'm just going to go ahead and snug these up. And you can feel when a bolt's getting snug. You don't need to carry on any farther than that. Okay, so we've got it installed. One thing to keep in mind is that it doesn't really matter which motor that you have. Pretty much all these pull starts work the same, and you can change them out the same way. If you have any questions about it or whatever, it doesn't matter what motor you have, feel free to give us a call. We do service all motors that are out there. Thanks for joining us. Catch you later.